What's going on, gamers? Today we're back with some more Outriders Worldslayer, and today, believe it or not, this is my Devastator. Even though he looks a little bit like an astronaut, I'm going to be showing you the Pax Tree for him. So if you want to know what the new subclasses are for the Worldslayer DLC and why he's going to be even better than ever, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back everyone. Today we're jumping into the Devastator and his Pax Tree and exactly what it brings to the table, what it has to offer and why it's going to make you so powerful. As always, if you enjoy this content, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you'd like to become part of the channel, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. But for now, let's jump into his skill tree and have a little look, see what it's all about. So this is the skill tree for the Devastator. In case you're not sure, it's going to be changing slightly. There'll be some adjustments to it for the Worldslayer DLC. Some things will be improved, some things will be slightly not improved, shall we say. But they have made quite a few adjustments, so you may want to look at it just to see if anything's changed. But just over here on the left will be your Pax Tree. You earn 5 points as you plan through the campaign in order to put into this two subclasses of sorts. The top one is the Wrecker and the bottom one is the Tectonic Shifter. If we pop down to the Tectonic Shifter first, we have Impact Point. Your seismic and kinetic skill damage is increased by an additional 30% of your anomaly power. Bonus damage is split among all damaged enemies. This one right here is really nice for that group targeting. It's not going to be the most powerful for the single target obviously, but it does help your anomaly damage and it will help you, which Devastator is actually pretty good at anyway, for taking out those groups of enemies. Just up from here and we've got Puncture. Your seismic skills inflict bleed. Anomaly damage to the enemies inflicted with bleed is increased by 10%. So it's just going to give you an additional 10% extra damage if you're using the skills below. Those ones are quite commonplace ones as well, especially the Earthquake. So a nice easy 10% extra damage will really help you out, and it's going to give you bleed at the same time, which will help a little bit with your regen and such. Just down from here and you've got Obliteration. Increase your anomaly power and resistance piercing by 6%. Each damaged enemy increase the bonus by 3%, up to an additional 9% for 3 seconds. Basically 15% by the looks of it is how much you should be getting most times, additional anomaly power and resistance piercing. Just up from here, and one that you've got to take, and that's Earth and Shell. Damage dealt with skills is converted to shield. This one's quite interesting to me. It's going to make you ridiculously tanky as you're going to have that shield coming up very often as long as you can maintain your skills. That's a really cool thing to see on the Devastator, pretty much going to make him more survivable than ever. Just up from here and we've got Upheaval. Enemies damaged by seismic skills become upheaved for 2 seconds, storing 10% of damage received during that time and releasing it once the effect ends. This is quite a cool one. I'd like to see how that works. It should mean that they're going to release it and then I'm guessing it's an area effect of sorts. I'll have to see what that's like in game, but even so, if it's not, it does mean that your seismic skills are going to get a nice chunky bit of 10% extra damage after a 2-second delay. That could be quite an interesting one to see, especially if you're someone who, like I said earlier, uses a lot of earthquakes and such, along with the one from before, just going to get extra damage on top just for using your skills. Just down from here and we've got Terms of Engagement. Kinetic. 60% of damage dealt by kinetic skill is stored and added to your next kinetic skill. The effect resets every time you release your stored damage. Very much looks like you're going to have a little bit of planning when you're playing Devastator now, because if you're doing it like this, it looks like you're going to want to use your first one as your buffer, the second one is going to want to be your big damage move. So whatever you're going to get the most damage from, that's probably what you want to pop after you've got the 60% of damage increase. Just up from here and you've got Richter Rising. Enemies damaged by both seismic and kinetic skills within 4 seconds receive 15% more damage for 4 seconds. Basically, if you like your hybrid builds, if you've got a bit of everything going on, then this one looks like the path for you. Just up from here and we've got Multi-Strike. 30% of damage dealt by seismic skills is stored and added to your next seismic skill. The effect resets every time you release your stored damage. Just nice and easy. If you're a seismic user, just up the top here is going to be the way forward and you're going to get boosted massively. Could make a few of your builds interesting there, as you're going to hit very hard with those skills. Just down from here, and the last node on the bottom path is Momentum. Each enemy damaged by your kinetic skill reduces ongoing cooldowns of other kinetic skills up to 4 seconds. So if you're looking for a nice bit of cooldown and you like kinetic skills, this is going to help you out that way. The only other pain about that, as far as I'm aware, unless they've changed anything, I think the only one you can get 2 on is actually the leap. So this might be a little bit harder to pull off than some of the other classes, all depends what you've got on your skill bar. And just up from here, Energy Transmission. Each enemy damaged by your kinetic skill increases your damage of your next seismic skill by 15%. Each enemy damaged by your seismic skill reduces ongoing cooldowns of your kinetic skills by 0.5%. So like I said earlier, this middle tree is definitely going to be a bit of both ways. I've got to stop moving around so much, but as you can see, these link together very well in order to make sure that you've got a very solid build and that you're able to use both of those skill types. If you like to put them together, the seismic and kinetic, these ones are going to be the ones for you. Just up the top here, and we've got Hunting Season. Increase your weapon damage by 30% and your magazine size by 50%. Like if you're going that top tree on your previous skill tree, that's going to be good for this, as it's going to go hand in hand. And magazine size 50%, damage 30% is actually a massive one for that first node. Just up from here, and we've got Harvester. Increases your weapon leech by 10%, additionally increase weapon leech by 2% for every enemy in close range, up to 10%. Again, a nice easy 10%, might as well say that's a guaranteed, and it's going to mean your close range damage is buffed very easily. Just down from here, and you've got increase your damage mitigation by 5%, and additionally increases damage mitigation, as soon as I speak, by 2% for every enemy in close range, up to 10%. So you can get 15% damage mitigation if you're in amongst everything, where with a Devastator, most times you probably will be anyway. It just means if you pick this path, you're going to be a little bit tougher to take down. Just up from there, and we've got Finishing Touch. Increases your weapon damage by the percentage of ammo missing from your magazine. Killing shots replenishes 35% of your magazine. That one's very interesting, it really is. I wonder how that's going to work exactly. It may well mean that you'll want to have a bigger magazine, as then you'll have that buff up for longer, if my brain's working correct. But even so, whatever you're doing, it means that you'll have a massive bit of additional damage as long as you're chunking out those shots. And the killing shot is going to replenish 35% of your magazine as well. This is a really good node that you're going to be taking no matter what, so great on any gun build with a Devastator. Just up from here, and we've got Armored Division. Increase your armor piercing by 20%. Reduce your kinetic skill cooldowns by 50% of your armor piercing value. If you're all about armor piercing, if you've got a lot of that going on in your skill tree previous to this one, this is the one you want, and it's going to mean you get a nice bit of cooldown on your kinetic skills. Just down from here, and we've got Strange Surgeon. Your shots inflict bleed. Killing an enemy afflicted with bleed in close range reduces ongoing cooldown of protection skills by 1.5 seconds. This is actually really good for a Devastator. You don't have to muck about, you don't have to think about anything, you've got bleed going on with your shots straight away. That may well be one of the best kind of nodes for this class, just for how straightforward it is and how much it could bring to your class if you've got some nice mods going on your build. Also, the fact that it's going to reduce your golem cooldown is just amazing to have on and will make you really survivable. Jumping up to the end of the top tree, and we've got Against Devastating Odds. Damaging at least 3 enemies with a kinetic skill grants you 30% armor piercing for 4 seconds. Damaging less enemies makes your shots critical shots for 4 seconds. They're definitely trying to make the Devastator a little bit multi-purpose. Basically, if you're taking lots of shots, you do the armor piercing. If not, you're going to be getting that crit damage. So that all depends what you want to go for, but that's actually really nice, because if you're focus firing on just one enemy and you're not the best shot, you don't have to be. Bosses, elites, they're all going to be taking that crit damage. Really nice and easy, so it could be one to watch out for, this one. Just down from here, and we've got your kinetic skills remove effect resistance from hit elites with a 7-second cooldown. Again, that's not bad. It means you get a bit of resistance taken off of them, but it is just against the elites and it has got 7-second cooldown. So even though these ones are nice, I think they're just in place mainly to get to the last node just over there. Just over here, while protection skill is active, you release seismic impulses every 2 seconds that deal damage equal to 40% of your armour. This could be really interesting. Previously you could boost your armour through the roof. It'll be fun to see how high you can get your armour, because if you can get it absolutely massive, you're going to be a tank that's in everyone's faces, doing a lot of damage with this, with your protection on, without being able to get hurt too much, whilst you're doing their effect and going at it with all of your skills. That could be a really fun one to use, and it's probably one that I would look at. Last but definitely not least, and we have elitism. Shots on elites reduce incoming damage from elites by 15% and increase damage against elites by 30% for 5 seconds with a 5-second cooldown. That one's massive, absolutely massive. They've nerfed a lot of the damage to elites. I think the mod at the moment is now down to 16% from 25%. They're trying to make the percentage ones lower. 30% is one of the best ones I've seen. So definitely worth picking up if you're going this middle path, as it's just going to mean you do a big old chunky bit of damage against the elites as long as you're taking shots on them. Right gamers, hopefully that's helped a few of you out. I've probably got the other Pax trees up now as well, so if you want to see them, they'll be on my channel. But as always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.